Chair, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about something that I have been interested in for a long, long time. Now, I'm going to put a different slant to it, but it's psychology and body language and understanding people. But I wanted to think about how you can use these things when you go to a party. So primarily I'm going to give you three skills really. How to deal with boring people at a party, we all face them. How to deal with dishonest people at a party. And how to deal with the attractive people at a party. It should be great. And I don't recommend use any of these at our summer ball, because none of these people, well, the attractive people will be there, but the others won't. So the reason I'm going to do this is because psychology is something I'm very, very interested in, and body language is really important, and you start looking at NLP and all other things, it's fantastic. But I can only give you a smattering of this. So let's think of those boring people that you get stuck with at a party. It always happens, doesn't it? You go to a party, you walk in, and you look for someone to talk to, and there's someone standing on their own, so you go to them, you think that's easy, isn't it? Well, there's a reason they're standing on their own. It's because they are boring. So you go up to them, and you know when you start speaking to anybody, in any situation, you stand face to face, don't you? And you get eye contact, and you get this sort of group going, and you start chatting. Well, soon you realise you want to be anywhere else but standing right here. So you're in a closed group, you're standing facing them, no one else can come into that group. So the way you deal with this, with your body language, is simply to take a step back. So you're now, they're facing this way, you're facing this way, and everybody knows that's an open group. And someone will come in and think, there's a group I can join. They'll come over and join the group. And of course, that's your key to say, I've just got to go wherever you've got to go to. Because if you just say to them, well, it's just you two, I'm going to go and get a drink, they're probably going to say, I'll come with you. That wouldn't work, would it? So you need to open the group up. Somebody joins, you say, excuse me, this is such and such, and then you leave them. And you've now got away from that really boring person at a party. So what about the dishonest people at a party? You know, you go in there, you start talking to somebody, and after a while you start to think, is this really true? Did this person really win the 10,000 metres Olympics, beating all of these other people? You know, did he really do such a smashing time? And he's English. Didn't happen, did it? But you know, when you're doing that, you're in that situation, you've got to try and figure out, actually, are they telling you the truth? So let's think about a few things that you can use in psychology that will tell you whether someone's telling you the truth. You can use this in other situations. The first one is eye-to-eye contact. Everybody thinks that when you're telling the truth, you gain eye contact with somebody like I'm doing with Rob, and you're going to keep that contact going for a very long time because you're telling the truth. Wrong. Because everybody thinks that, they do it when they're telling lies. Because normally if I'm talking to Rob, I talk to him and look away and maybe come back to his eye. If they hold your eye contact for too long, then they are almost certainly giving you a load of a lie. Other things you can look for, if you're sitting down, they're likely to pull their legs away from you. They're distancing themselves from the lie. They might stroke their women likely to stroke just the top of their chest here. Or if they're pregnant, like I look, they're likely to do this. I find myself doing it all the time. So there's a few things that women will do. Men might sort of cover their mouth up. There's things that you can look out for. If their feet start to point towards the door, they're uncomfortable. And the really interesting one is when they're actually having to think about doing something that should come naturally. So for instance, I didn't bring it up here for this reason, but it will work. If for instance they're talking to you and then they have to look to pick up their glass and have a drink, they're thinking about the lie and not about what they're actually doing. I picking up glass. So if they do it naturally, you're telling the truth. So there's a few ideas for this, how to identify someone who's being dishonest. A few you can take away with you. Now then, let's think about attractive people. Oh, yeah. I could go on all day like that. But attractive people, they're the people you want to be talking to, aren't they? They're the people you want to be talking to you. Now, I don't know most of your marital situations. I've been married it'll be 30 years next month. So it's probably not going to last much longer. I need to think about how to get these attractive people. I And maybe some of you are in long-term relationships. Well, it's going to change. You will need these tips. So let's think about these attractive people. Well, obviously everyone can tell you the same things, that you need to get rapport. You need to mirror their body language. This is what Darren Brown does, mirror their body language. If they're sort of standing like this, you stand like that. If they're sitting like this, then you do that. There's all sorts of things you can do with body language. But for the guys, there's a really easy thing you can do. I don't know what the girls do. You've probably got these secrets already, and you've never told us. But guys, I'm not going into a secret. With women, they find you attractive if they think you're a higher status than them. Because they're looking for somebody who will... This is going to sound dreadful, but it's innate in everybody. They're looking for someone who will look after them and maybe be good for their babies. So, how can you tell someone you're a higher status? It's easy. Would you like to stand up and join me, sir? Okay. Now, if well, obviously, he is a higher status than me. Not only in height. But you know, if this was the Queen here, I'd never go up to the Queen, you know, buddy up to her, would I? You never do that. You never touch someone of a higher status. But you will touch someone of an equal or lower status. So guys, just giving that signal, just touch the lady on the edge of the touch them above the elbow. And they'll immediately think, oh, this guy's more confident, more of a higher status. Thank you very much for coming up. So that's what that's what you can do. They'll know it instantly. There's nothing you can do to hide it. That's what they'll know. Don't forget the time, by the way. So there's sort of 3 tips that probably will give you some extra skills at a party. In one, boring people. Open up the actual body language so someone else comes and joins. Dump on them, basically. Number 2, dishonest people. Watch their body language, eye contact, and all the sort of things they do around that. And of course, number 3 is attractive people. You obviously mirror their body language as best you can, but guys, you've only got to touch them on the elbow. It's simple as that. And it will, in tests, this has been proven by psychologists the world over. It does work. But if you don't want to use it, in that way, it will be a good way of influencing people to do what you want them to do. Chair, thank you.